Today is Matthew's birthday. Happy birthday, Matt. When we talked with him recently, we were just chatting about this, that, and the other thing. And he mentioned the fact that the first place he remembered living was our apartment in Redmond, Washington. So, in honor of his birthday for today, I decided to recreate that apartment in House Flipper. Now, I did not create the whole apartment complex. Clearly, you can see there's only one building there. And the one building is just our apartment. Our apartment was actually a first floor apartment. There was another one above us, and there was two apartments to the left of us, but I've just recreated the building and the car park in front. Now, those should actually have a roof on them to protect the cars, but well, I didn't have a structure that was exactly correct, so I did the best I could. And and it's actually not even big enough, as you'll see when we get closer. That car is a Toyota. I think it's Supra, which is not what we had. We actually had a Toyota Corolla, but it was black, just like this. So that sort of represents our car. And Matt remembers that car. That car, by the way, when we moved back to New York State, was shipped in the truck with all our other things. So we didn't add 3,000 miles traveling across country with it. Okay, so there would have been stairs here up to the second floor apartments, and there would have been another apartment entrance on the left, but this is our apartment. It was JJ134. As you can see, apartment style, everything is painted white. All the walls were white. And actually, there isn't a texture like it in the game. The walls were sort of a stucco. And this is our bedroom, Warren's and mine. It is decorated kind of the way it was. This picture was taken before we were married, actually. We went to Washington, D.C. on a trip, and this was taken in Ford's Theater. We are sitting in the seats that are normally reserved for the President and First Lady. Now, not then, obviously. So, those are just pictures. And these two photographs are interesting, though, because the one on the left, that was taken at the Seattle Zoo. And we made a trip there the first year that my parents visited us. This is this is Matthew and his sister-in-law in their house in Pennsylvania. So now we've got some more interesting pictures. This is my husband's favorite picture of me. My father actually took it years and years and years and years ago. Matthew at about 4, and then Matthew at his prom. And the last one is Matthew right after he was born. This photograph is one that I took, and it shows the outside of the house where we actually did live when Matthew was born. So that was taken, obviously, in the fall. But we actually lived out in the country. We've got a little closet here with a wardrobe in it. And then over here we have a bathroom. And the proportions are not right. But this is the bathroom. This is sort of what we had. So, all the stuff to brush your teeth and rinse your mouth out and all that. Small window. And that's this room, our bedroom. Now, out here, we have another bathroom. Our apartment actually had 2 bathrooms. It was really unusual. At the time that we rented this place, I'd never heard of an apartment with 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, but that's what we had. And I did the best I could to recreate it. Everything was always the simplest tiles, the simplest paper, well, no wallpaper, the simplest tiles, the simplest paint. It was like that. Now, this is my office. I was working at Microsoft at the time, and I did like to work at home. I had my computer, and that picture of Matthew was one that he took of himself with my camera years ago. Um, and the television that you notice over there on the side was, I used to play videos, and he would come in while I was working. I would play videos for him, and he would play and watch videos in my office while I worked. This is a laundry. We had a washer and a dryer. Then this is Matthew's bedroom. Yep, we're going to go in there. So Matthew's bedroom is kind of like it was. He did have a bed like this with drawers in it. However, they were quite a bit higher. It was quite a bit higher than what I'm showing here. That's a picture of his father at the Fremont Troll, which is in Fremont, Washington. I took that photograph of him. And this other one to the right shows me standing on Microsoft Way, me and Matthew on Microsoft Way. So that was taken. And across the street there in the background, you can see the buildings where the Visual Studio people sat. We've got, and he's in his carriage, of course. He's got an R2-D2 here on his dresser. And I believe it's a long ago memory, but I believe that was belonged to his brother. His brother had a lamp in his bedroom that was R2-D2, and he gave it to Matthew when Matthew was born. So he's got a real train set to play with. And the Spider-Man poster is particularly important because while we were there, we saw the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire. And Matt absolutely adored it. And he used to play Spider-Man all the time. And I was walking down the hall one day, and I heard, "This should do for web swinging." Went into his room, and he's standing on the bed, which, as I said, was quite a bit higher, with the Venetian blind cord in his hand, and he was about to launch himself into space. Fortunately, I stopped him in time. But can you imagine? He really thought he could web swing off that using the Venetian blind cord. He was 6 years old. Please cut him some slack. I think it's very imaginative that he came up with it, but scared the heck out of me. I was carrying a basket of laundry at the time, and clothes went everywhere. This is our kitchen, and it was small like this, simple. And then over to the right, over to the right was a closet. Anyway, this is the dining room, and the desk this is Warren's desk. He actually had a much fancier one that I bought him right before we moved out there. It's now long gone, but a sideboard. And we did have a fireplace like this in our apartment. We didn't have this TV because there weren't TVs like this at the time, but we had an Xbox and we had the TV. And this looks kind of like the original Xbox, which is what we had at the time. Living room. I had a painting something like that on the wall. Not exactly like that, but similar. and you can see the couch with the game controllers on it, and the fireplace, and the comfy chairs, and something for Matthew. Happy birthday, Matthew. Love, Mom, Dad, and Coco, who's not in the picture, but that's okay. This is me holding Matthew, my husband standing behind us. Next to him is my dad's cousin, then my mom and my dad, and front and center is my grandmother, Irene, for whom I was named. So this is the other Irene. Actually, I grew up hearing she was Big Irene and I was Little Irene, which seems rather funny when you consider my size and hers, but that's okay. When I was Little Irene, I really was little. So, but I made this for Matt. It's my digital birthday card for him. Okay. So now I will show you the back. We did have a small picnic table, not a picnic. We had a small table and chairs, and we did have a barbecue grill. And in our storage shed, we had a freezer, and that was some of our stuff that we brought with us. We actually moved from New York State to Seattle, to Redmond, for me to work for Microsoft. And I came out ahead of time, lived in this apartment by myself on an air mattress for 2 weeks. And then Matt and Warren drove all the way across the country with a moving van and all of our stuff. We had no car when we first moved out there. And so now let's put it on the auction. First we'll do the garden. And I doubt there'll be anything, but you never know. Oh, 2.5%. That's not bad, considering I did nothing. I put some flowers on both sides of the building, and that's about it. Let's see who's going to buy this from me. I half expected that the family Johnson would buy it, but I guess there's not enough bedrooms for them. So the Smoth family, and they are offering $290,000. Not too bad, not too shabby. With the garden and all, I'm going to make $90,000, but let's see if we can get a little more. I'm going to ask for around $5,000 more. Let's see how we do. They took it. We made $95,000, almost 96. I won't say no to that. Now, please remember, this is not, first of all, this is not Friday's video. This is an extra. Remember to subscribe to my channel, like, share with your friends, and please comment. I love to hear your comments, and I try to respond to every one of them. Thanks. See you tomorrow.